With Kingdom Hearts 4 taking place in a new territory and therefore a new battleground, we're also seeing a new set of key players in the Lost Master arc. Mainly the Foretellers and the Master of Masters, but also other characters from Union Cross like Strelitzia and Skuld. And while we're obviously going to see a lot about the Master of Masters and the Foretellers, I think there was actually an interaction we saw in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind that will continue on more behind the scenes in the Lost Master arc. Welcome back, y'all. This is your girl Empowered Muse, and today we're going to talk about a particular interaction between two people that I think will continue on in the Lost Master arc, and that interaction that we saw in Remind that was short but pretty significant was between Luxord and Xigbar, who, spoiler alert, was revealed to be Luxu in the epilogue of the Kingdom Hearts 3 base game. And so I think this interaction where we see Luxord and Luxu sort of size each other up and try to figure out the other's motives stood out to us a bit more on purpose because, as we saw in the following epilogues and secret movies, we kind of have an expectation that both Luxu and Luxord will be very important in this next arc. So looking back at Luxu and Luxord's interaction in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, it seems that what went down in their conversation is Luxord basically trying to figure out just why some of Organization 13, including him, was assigned to look for a certain black box. Now, as we know, this black box is the same one that ends up being with Luxu in the epilogue of Kingdom Hearts 3, but in Luxord and Luxu's earlier conversation, there was no clear reason why the organization was assigned to look for this black box. Now, the obvious answer is that Luxu likely wanted to make sure the black box wasn't compromised, as he was basically playing double duty, being in the role of Xigbar supporting Xehanort's goal of summoning Kingdom Hearts. Specifically, I do think that Luxu was aware that Maleficent and Pete were also after the black box and wanted to make sure that whatever he left in it wasn't discovered by them specifically, because whatever is in that black box is way too important or too pivotal to the Master of Masters to be compromised or hacked by the likes of Maleficent. And what's actually interesting and something to maybe ponder on is whether Luxord, after his conversation with Luxu, was on the search for the black box for the sake of duty or out of his own curiosity. Because if we remember in Kingdom Hearts 3, the conversation between Luxord and Luxu took place shortly after Sora left Olympus, but when we see Luxord again in the Pirates of the Caribbean world, he did mention looking for a black box, so even after his conversation with Luxu, where his suspicions were definitely raised, he's still looking for that black box. And so this sort of gap in Luxord's motives in Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of makes me think that there would definitely be more to Luxord and Luxu's seemingly strategic rivalry in the Lost Master arc. I do think there's a reason that Luxord was looking for this black box outside of duty to the organization, and Luxord's raised suspicions in Kingdom Hearts 3 might have spurred Luxu to go ahead and find the black box and maybe store it somewhere in the Keyblade graveyard sometime before we see him with the box in the epilogue of Kingdom Hearts 3. But let's go back over Luxord's path going into the Lost Master arc. As an Organization 13 member, Luxord was basically someone akin to the Master of Time, but his official name was the Gambler of Fate. So if we were to make a simple comparison to a mythological being, Luxord seemed the most similar to Hermes, the Greek messenger god. And while we tend to commonly know Hermes as the messenger god and the Greek god of speed, Hermes was also the Greek god of luck and gambling, who had the ability to influence outcomes and tip the scales in favor of those who seek his favor. And this sounds very similar to how we see Luxord battle Sora with his abilities in both Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3. Not to mention, this is basically what we see Luxord do in his last act as an organization member in Kingdom Hearts 3 after Sora defeats him. Luxord gives Sora a wild card that could turn the tables of something and therefore alter Sora's fate. However, because we clearly don't see Sora use this card in Kingdom Hearts 3, this likely means that Sora still has a wild card when we see him again in Quadratum, where we'll start Kingdom Hearts 4. So the wild card that Luxord gifted Sora is likely for the events in the Lost Master arc, as opposed to what was Sora's final battle with Master Xehanort in Kingdom Hearts 3. Additionally, we also learned that Luxord is someone who was selected to be in the real Organization 13 because of his suspected ties to an ancient Keyblade legacy. Whether that refers to Luxord being someone from the days of Missing Link remains to be seen, but what we do know so far is that Luxord is a pretty powerful character who may or may not have the ability to wield a Keyblade, who also seems to be linked to the past. But not only is Luxord someone who's linked to the past, but he's also pretty much confirmed to be somewhere in Quadratum in the Lost Master arc, since we see him revealed to be Yozora's driver in the secret movie in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. And with Luxord being so close in proximity to Yozora, there could even be a chance that Yozora came across Sora through a dream because of Luxord's latent abilities. So Luxord will likely be more of a key player and maybe even key strategist going forward in the Lost Master arc. So Luxord wasn't the only one who had new suspicions after the conversation between him and Luxu in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. Once Luxord confronted him and his true motives, Luxu simultaneously became suspicious of Luxord and his true motives, as we saw him questioning Luxord's true identity once Luxord left the conversation. And again, once Luxu realized that Luxord was onto him, he might have taken it upon himself to rush and find the black box, not only to keep it from the likes of Maleficent, but to also keep Luxord from trying to figure out what's really inside it. And when looking at Luxu's path going into the Lost Master arc, it appears to be more direct, as it seems that he's basically followed the Master's taskings of watching the events leading to the future by passing on the no-name or gazing eye Keyblade to an apprentice over time, until one appeared who would summon Kingdom Hearts and initiate another Keyblade War. However, while Luxu did in fact do those things and follow the Master's orders, there's still that lingering question of Luxu's betrayal that occurred in Union Cross. Of all the Foretellers, there seems to be this anomaly in both Ava and Luxu of whether either or both of them were the true traitors to the Master of Masters. From Ava gifting the Book of Prophecies to Brain first instead of Ephemer, to Luxu being named as a traitor by the Master himself, and also being part of the reason that the Keyblade War in Union Cross took place, it seems that both Ava and Luxu have strayed from the Master's orders at some point during Union Cross, and this has been further supported by one of the artworks released during Kingdom Hearts' 20th anniversary celebration, where we see both Ava and Luxu turn the farthest away from the Master of Masters. And so over time, as Luxu fulfilled his role of watching, guiding, and waiting, it does seem that there could be similarities in a comparison between him and Argus in Greek mythology, the 100-eyed giant who acted as a watchman. Of course, Argus and Luxu don't have a perfect one-to-one comparison, but Luxu has definitely been regarded as a watcher over time until Xehanort summoned Kingdom Hearts and kicked off another Keyblade War. But now that the Keyblade War has reached its conclusion and the Foretellers have returned, it seems that Luxu is set to return at the Master side in the Lost Master arc. That said, it's still a pretty open question of whether Luxu has his own agenda and whether he's really another agent of darkness going forward. But if Luxu does have his own agenda, I wouldn't be surprised if Luxord, his abilities, and his wild card would be in place to actually slow Luxu down in this next arc. So one of the things I think is being set up in this next arc is a potential strategic battle between Luxord and Luxu. However, I think this battle between the two is one that is taking place more in the background as opposed to the forefront. And while I don't think this means that Luxu and Luxord will be the new chess players, I do think that there will be more confrontations between these two in the Lost Master arc. I want to hear from you, so let me know what you think about this connection between Luxord and Luxu in the comments below. If you want to explore some more Kingdom Hearts theories, I'll be linking another Kingdom Hearts theory video here in the end screen. And as always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video and want to watch more Kingdom Hearts content. And if there's anyone who may have questions about what to expect for the upcoming Kingdom Hearts games, be sure to share this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.